Braden, my man, welcome to the show. How we doing tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about yourself?
Man, we are blessed. We are glad to have you, especially, being that you are a University of Tampa guy and our main host here, Daniel, is a former coach for Tampa, but we'll get into that in a minute. We got to start. We titled this episode called Chasing Dreams. And the reason I did that is because your mom did a post on social media just saying how proud of you and for continuing to chase your dreams and be the man that you are. And so, with that, it is your birthday. So, happy birthday, as well as a day after Mother's Day. How awesome is it to have someone like your mom in your corner supporting you, chasing your dream?
Man, I don't think people understand, how big a role supportive parents really do play, especially when this game gets serious. As everyone knows, the game gets really expensive. The older you get, the more expensive it gets. And my parents have always found a way to make it possible where I play, especially my mom and my dad, both of them. And my mom's always tough, she always tells me that I'm better. I play bad, you're better than that. You gotta fix it. You gotta work hard this week, be better. And I think that's kind of helped me through my whole life. Both my parents, like I said, are supportive. They've always made it to where I was able to play, no matter the situation at home, whatever's going on. Like I was playing baseball that summer, and I think that's a big part. You gotta have your parents on your back. If you don't have them on your back and behind you, then it's really hard to do it at a young age.
No doubt. So shout out to mom and dad for the continued support and, like I said, man, chasing a dream. But before we get into where you're at now, let's go back to the beginning with mom and dad. Where are you originally from?
Coldwater, Mississippi.
Yeah, and I'm all too familiar. That is where my family currently lives out there in the sticks.
Yes, sir.
So outside of mom and dad, do you got any siblings?
I got one sister. Yes, sir. She's younger than me.
Is she an athlete herself, or what's going on with
She was growing up, and then she's a lot smarter than I am, so
her?
she chose the school path over me. A
That's
little more
cool. Hey,
serious.
y'all got some balance. That works.
That's right.
All right. So, what was the influence on playing baseball? Like, how did you get started? And was it the only sport you played growing up?
So I was a pretty versatile kid. My parents allowed me to play really whatever I wanted to for the most part. Besides football, couldn't play football until I was a certain age. That was my mom's one rule growing up. I played soccer growing up, baseball, basketball, rec everything. Really just kind of fell in love with baseball,
Once
and
you got to play football, how'd that go?
I enjoyed it. But at the same time, like there's too many people you gotta bank your life on in some situations, depending on where you
You,
play.
you sound like you might be a quarterback who had offensive line problems.
It got rough every now and then. So I played like 2 years. Yeah, it was just it wasn't
So,
it wasn't for me. I'm not a big body bag. Not a fan of getting punched on all the time.
hey, I feel you. I understand. So, like I said, my family being from Coldwater, they all went to Strayhorn. I know what it's like out there in the sticks, and if you're an athlete, the school options, if you really want to excel, calling it what it is, there's not really much opportunity. And if you're a high caliber athlete, the option is Magnolia Heights, which is obviously where you went. Was Magnolia Heights something that was a plan all along, or when did that come around?
I'd say probably when I was in about sixth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. Um, I went to a private school, and it wasn't all that great all the time. Like most private or most public schools, I guess, was where I started as a public school. It wasn't great most of the time, but my parents, they really just, we had some family friends, that had some kids that were at Magnolia, friends of mine, summer ball playing, growing up with, and they had just decided with my sister, being a female and whatnot, that it was just best that they sent us to Magnolia.
I'm thinking with your age, at some point you would have had to play with Jacob Billingsley. He had been older, but y'all been on the team at the
So
same time.
I actually got to Magnolia in seventh grade, which I think may have been his senior year.
Okay.
Can't
Dang,
remember.
Jacob's an old man. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember if he was a senior my seventh or eighth grade year.
All
But
right. So with you getting there in your seventh grade year, it might explain what it says when you look up your bio. It says 5-time state champion. Most people think high school, 4 years, it's just 5 times. How's that even possible? So does that mean y'all started winning all the way back when you were in middle school, and were you already on the team?
I remember the year before I got there. So the year I got there, my seventh grade year, they were actually celebrating a state championship win, and pretty sure that was the year they were 36-0.
Wow.
And I thought it was crazy. I was like, wow, man, like they were undefeated last year. Like baseball's got to be crazy here, and it was. It was really really serious, really cutthroat. But I
So
would have to say that was my first impression of baseball. Was like I first got there. That was their last season before I got there, and it was very impressive.
nice way to set the bar high for you to come in on, huh?
I would say like with that always being a dream of mine growing up, that was really cool, and it was really like it really gave me like more to look forward to. It
Yeah,
really
no
gave me
doubt.
more of a drive. Like, all right, well if they're that good, like I need to step it up.
So, with all those titles, obviously you were named the 2018 MAIS Player and Pitcher of the Year, recipient of the Colby Mason Award. You have those accolades, you have the championships. Seems like so many great seasons. Which season was your favorite? And if you can think off the top of your head, what was like your favorite baseball moment in high school?
Mm. It's gotta be my senior year. Um, we had three seniors, and it's not really ever really a big senior class there. So we had three seniors that year, and I got to start the first game of the state championship. And Coach Matt come out there and pull me out. I was like, "Hey, you're at 74 pitches. Like, we got to pull you out. Can't let you throw anymore if we want you to throw later in the series." And I was very upset. I was pitching well. I was very upset, and I was like, "All right, if that's what's best, let's do it." Took me out. Ended up having the storm come through. Some stuff happened where games ended up getting pushed back, and so I was actually able to throw in game two of the state championship. And so I started in the outfield in game two. Ended up coming into close in the last inning. It was really cool.
So, did you get the win in game one and the save in game two?
I can't remember, but I believe that's how it unfolded.
Man, way to play the humble card. I can't remember. You remember.
I really don't, man. I'm blessed for my accolades. I'm very blessed for everything God has done for me so far, and I really am looking forward to what He's gonna bring into my life. And most of the credit I give it to my coaches. I don't really like to take too much credit unless it's really due. But that's just how I've always been raised. You never want to get too high because the higher you get, the harder that fall is, and it's never really that fun.
Yeah, can definitely appreciate that. So, the college recruiting process as you were at Magnolia Heights and having this success, what did it look like? Were you going to showcases? Were they coming to you? How was that college process going?
I did, I guess, what every Mississippi kid does. They go to showcase tournaments all summer, playing all summer, showcase baseball. That was about most of the recruiting part of what I did, getting recruited. Um,
And
yeah,
so
and then
how does Meridian become the school?
man, it's actually really funny. Rudy was my only offer in high school.
Wow.
I had one offer when I graduated high school, and it was to MCC.
Well,
And I
so
really don't know, how how or what happened for that to be, but it was really cool.
I really think it has to do, because I'm so familiar with this area. We had Houston Harding on, for example, right? And Itawamba was the only place he could get in. And then, he ends up at state. And then, now he's with the Los Angeles Angels organization. I think it's really hard when you come from a small area like that. Like you said, even if you go to the showcases, you're not getting that national recognition you might be. For instance, like, in South Haven, DeSoto Central Jaguars, they're winning state title after state title in the 6A, and they're playing against some big time. And I always see scouts and whatnot there,
Yeah.
whereas you're not going to find that, in the backwoods, so to speak.
Yeah, that's right, man. It was really rare to see a lot of scouts at Magnolia. It's really really a rare thing. I guess the Dustin Skelton Riley Self era, their senior year, there was a good bit of scouts most of the games. Um, Other than that, you really didn't see it.
you had mentioned that Meridian was the only choice at the time. Does that make the pressure and the decision just super easy and like, or was there like, a little bit of disappointment? You're like, damn, like there's only one school. I know I'm good enough to play, but like that's it.
I would say more of a humble anger. It's it's kind of like a fire that gets lit. You're like, well, you're obviously going to go there. It's your only offer to start, but then you end up buying in because you know that that's the only program that wanted you. So I think it makes the process a lot easier as far as, is this the right place for me? Is this where I want to be? Like, is this the program that I feel comfortable buying into? And I think like that being my only offer was a really big part of helping me as, a freshman, go ahead and getting bought into that, as soon as I got there, and not taking that freshman year to have to try to figure it out.
Well, it seems like you bought in fully. I mean, you were MACJC All State first team. You were 5-1, 2.58 ERA, 79 strikeouts. I mean, that's legit stats at legit community college. Now, with that, obviously you spent a season there. How would you describe the overall experience at Meridian? And did it meet your expectations, or was it just kind of the means to an end to something else?
When I first got there, um, like everyone off the looks, it's an older school. So you're like, all right, man, like you already, the vibes aren't that great. You're already like, well, I wonder how this is gonna go. But then you get into like the baseball aspect of it, and it's so serious. It's so well managed by Coach Sud and the coaches that he brings in and what he teaches. It's like not what you expect, in a sense of like, here I am, I show up at this community college. It's old, like it's old as dirt. Every building's old. It's very small. You're getting a dorm. It's not that big. It's really nice, but it's not that big. And it's all this new stuff that you're having to adjust to, and the vibes aren't great. Everything's old or small, or it's just not what you're used to. And then you go to baseball, it's like all that is forgotten. And
It,
and like it's just a whole nother world when you step out on the field.
it's really night and day. If people haven't ever experienced junior college baseball and being on a quote unquote JUCO campus for academics, it's very strange because I remember when I was in JUCO, we had some classes on like the main campus where it kind of looked like a school and like a college, but then there was South Campus and it was like a strip mall. Like you walked into like a sliding like automatic door and like it's just like hallways and you just
For an
found the
old
room. And
PA. Yeah.
yeah, it was just very strange. So, but yeah, you're right. The baseball part of it, like it negated all the negatives of the academic because like it wasn't the college um atmosphere. It wasn't what you were looking for as far as college life outside of baseball, but the baseball part definitely was. So I can get you, and I totally feel you when you say that. But you obviously end up with Ole Miss. How does that come to be? Obviously, you had a good season at Meridian, but then how does Ole Miss enter the equation?
Yeah, so I had another pretty successful season. Ended up getting some phone calls close to the end, a few schools. First school to call was Ole Miss. Talked to them. Personally, I really liked that they were close. I liked that they were close to home. My freshman year, I'm 4.5 hours from home, so it's not really that easy just to go home if you really need to. And I really liked the fact that it was only about an hour from my house, and so that was uh that was what kind of helped me lean towards Ole Miss.
So was it so when you show up at Ole Miss, do you take a visit or you already know like I don't even need to visit this place?
So it was also last second, with my situation, everything being a freshman, and that's not really what they like to do for JUCOs. They don't like to take the coaches guys that are just getting in, and but as you know, like that season before, they were losing Caracey, a couple other big arms. They needed some bullpen guys, and they called me and they're like, "Hey man, like if you just do this, like you're gonna play next year." And I guess that for me was like, all right, like I just need to do my job and I'm gonna be all right. And so that really helped that decision.
I mean, it looks like you picked up where you left off. I mean, sophomore season there, you worked to a 1.23 ERA, 9 strikeouts, 7 innings pitched. You led the SEC. Um, you were eighth in the nation with 5 saves. You were named SEC Pitcher of the Week after recording 3 saves in the same week. You made your first career appearance against number one Louisville. You worked 2/3 of an inning and earned your first career save. You know, when I say that out loud to you, is that impressive to you? I mean, it should be, but obviously, man, that's got to show the path, the hard work, and the dedication that you put in because man, we've talked to a lot of different cats on this podcast, and those numbers stack up with some of the best. Like, how does that feel when somebody says those stats back to you?
It's still to this day kind of surreal, that I was able to be that successful my first year there and get to experience the things that I got to experience. And like I said earlier, I couldn't do any of this without the good Lord, man. I mean, if He didn't give me that talent and He didn't give me that mindset to where like the stats didn't matter, it's more like when I come in, I'm better than you. Like it's that simple, and I'm gonna prove it. And like main reason for that is I think I get really close to people. I build a good bond with my team, and that means a lot to me. Like I hate letting my team down, and so I try to do my best every time I'm out there, every pitch. Just win it one pitch at a time. Just do your job, and I ended up doing my job pretty well in that short season, and
So let's talk about that. Obviously, you're kicking ass, man. Like you're doing exactly what they have you out there to do. You're closing down games, you're getting outs, like you're helping the team win games, but then all of a sudden, boom, like the season's just ripped out from underneath you. Was it gut wrenching? Was it just a little
hard.
bit of like shock and awe? Like
It
what
is
the
hard.
hell's going
To
on?
this day, man, it still makes me a little sick to my stomach. It's really tough. You get there. Like I got there, that was my first year at Ole Miss. I got there in the summer. First year guys come in the summer. They try to go ahead and get them on the program. Was there all summer. That's what you focus on. And the moment you step through those doors, that first day, that's the goal. Just get to Omaha, win Omaha. That's the only goal. And like that year with the seniors we had with Ant and TK, they really would push us, just to buy in and trust it. And as we bought in and started to trust more of each other, trust more of the coaches and the plan, as you saw, we had really hot start there. We were really successful, and I think that it still sucks. Like it's something you look forward to. As soon as you get there, that's the only thing you think about. You go to bed, you wake up. It's I'm getting better today to get to Omaha. It's the only plan. And then
Braden,
have it.
we talked to all these guys, man, and for the Ole Miss cats, it definitely you could tell it hurts worse because I mean, it speaks for itself. Y'all were the hottest team in the nation. You're ranked number one. Like it sucks for everyone, but it sucks when you are playing the best baseball of anyone in the country.
It's tough, man, and to have it ripped out from under your feet within I don't know, like 48 hours, I think. It was just pretty crazy. It's a very how can I put it? It's not that you feel let down, you just feel, that you just really want to know why, like what was going on at the time. There's so much confusion with COVID and everything, starting up. It kind of leaves you just like what's going on? Like why is Omaha over? Like this virus
Right.
just started a day ago and we're already canceling, probably one of the biggest college baseball events in the year, easily one of the biggest. And so that didn't make a lot of sense to us. And, we were really, really, really close. And to find out, when that was over and the season was canceled, we took it pretty bad. We loved each other.
It's hard to understand and rationalize a decision of that magnitude being made with limited information because in a game like baseball, like when you lose, you typically understand why you lose. But in this situation, you didn't win, you didn't lose, it was just taken from you, and there was really no understanding of why. Um, Obviously, we now know why, and all those pieces were put together and probably um, in some light for a good reason. But um, obviously, like if we're gonna talk about the good, we got to talk about the bad too. The following season after that, I mean, you had 13 relief appearances and one save. Um, what was it? COVID? Was it just transitioning into a new season? What was the difference between those two seasons? Obviously, one was
Um,
really high, and then one
you know,
you just couldn't get traction.
yeah, I'm not really one for excuses. I really feel to this day that I didn't prepare myself correctly for this past season, and it showed. It came back and it ended up biting me, and that's something that I'll own up to it. I'm not gonna sit here and go, oh, it was COVID, or oh, like this was going on because of the virus and all this. Like it's BS. Everybody dealt with it. Like everybody dealt with the same problem at that time, and you really can't use that as an excuse for not coming back like you were. And I think that was really it. I didn't prepare like I really wanted to. Took a hot second for me to really start to figure it out. By the time I figured it out, it was too late, and
Well,
it burned out my season there.
well, despite not having the season that you would have hoped, you still were a part of a team that made amazing run in the super regionals. I think you guys kind of ran into a buzzsaw against Arizona, but how much fun was it to be a part of that team and make that type of run and knowing like you were right there on the cusp of something really really special?
It's unreal. I mean, you're pretty much floating around on cloud nine for a hot minute there. I mean, it's like you watch it growing up, all the time. If you play baseball growing up, you watch college baseball, you watch, the playoffs, everything runs out, ends up running down, and you show up in Arizona and like actually be there, and then like it kind of hit me where I was like, whoa, like this is us, like we're that team, like we're one of those teams that's playing for it, and it's like it's hard to really mimic. I think I haven't really had a situation that's been that that neat to me. I think because it was something that I've dreamed about from watching on TV growing up, and then to actually be there. It's almost like part of you saying, I did it, like I did it, but then there's still another party that's like you're not done yet, like you're still here for that purpose.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. I got something I want to ask you. We actually had Taylor Broadway on right after that series, and being that you're a reliever, and you have that reliever mentality. What's it like? What was your thought process for him going into Game 3 as a starter, and putting yourself to those shoes, like because you have a specific mindset and a way and approach, and to have to just change up everything you do and go out in the biggest game of the season and play that starting role. What was your thought process for him, and how would you adjust to that?
I think that's a big, wouldn't say it's a problem, not really for relievers. It is very hard to do. I think for the main part, relievers are trying, they're trying to change. They're trying to change everything they do because now they're a starter mentally. And I think like to a certain point in the season when you relieved all year, at a certain point you gotta stick to your program. You stick to your routine. What works best for you? Like what do you do? Because there's still weekends where you may relief and you still go 4 innings,
Mhm.
and you're still good. So like what do you do? And I think that's a big thing that I think relievers have a hard time comprehending. They want to, all of a sudden be that starter, be like every starter, do the whole long stretch routine and the long throwing before a game and all that, but they don't really comprehend this fact that they're probably not getting the same recovery before this start that they just find out about as that starter that started all year. And like for me, that's kind of where I go into. I would just treat it like a relief appearance. I'm going to come out from the first inning. I'm going to give you my best bullets, and I'm going to give you my best bullets until I can't go no more. And I'm hoping, as everyone hopes, you go 4 or 5 innings in that spot, but it's sometimes the reality of it is you can only go three, and if that's what it takes, you just want to do your job the best that you can, however deep you can go in that situation, because at that point, like you're just trying to help burn innings for your boys. You're trying to just try to help burn those innings and keep the game moving, but not be hurting so bad, missing that starter. And I think that's a really big thing that they don't really understand is they really try to get into that starter mentality and change everything. And I don't think you should do that. I think, hell, if it takes you 15 minutes to get loose, get 15 minutes, man, get loose right before you go in. Like, do what you've done all year, just give your best bullets. And when you run out, it's going to be all right. Cause your teammates are going to know that while you're out there, you gave the best you could. And that's all we really want from each other.
So Braden, you talk about, the mindset shift and doing things a little different, but obviously you travel from Ole Miss, from Mississippi, from Oxford, and down south to Tampa. Probably a little bit of a culture shock, a little bit different.
It's a little different, yeah.
Weather. I mean, everything. I mean, the all the way to the campus itself, the field, everything, is probably magnified at Ole Miss, and it's probably in some aspects more beautiful and nicer here, but in a lot of aspects, a lot smaller version of what that was. But with Tampa, how does that come about? Obviously, you decide you want to make a change, and how does Tampa fall on the radar?
So, I ended up, breaking a team rule and whatever, get booted from Ole Miss and enter the transfer portal that week. First phone call I get, is Coach Urso. And he's like, hey, man, how's it going? Saw you're in the portal, was wondering if you'd like to come to Tampa. And I was like, had no clue, who Tampa is, like it's just not a school that I was really familiar with or have ever really heard of in the baseball world. So kind of did my research and I was like, wow, like these guys are really good. Like Coach Urson knows how to win. And so I called him back and I was like, hey, like I'd like to set up a visit first because in all my years of coming up, through baseball and colleges, my freshman year, I had to go to Meridian. I didn't really have a choice. Like that was decided. Ole Miss, I kind of had a feeling that was where I wanted to go. I committed before even taking a visit there. And so this year, like this time, I was like, all right, like I want to do this. I want to do it right. I want to do it my way. Take my time, set up visits. Do that. So I set up a visit with Coach Urso. Came on my visit.
I got a question because I was privy to a lot of these visits. What was this visit and what did it consist of?
So showed up, had a breakfast with the coaches, got to meet them with my family, went over to the school, did a nice little tour, the little meeting in the meeting room, talk about the program, what they want out of you when you get there, what they strive for as a team and as a family, and how the family is a really big role here. It's huge, like as well as I do. It's really, really focused on a really strong knit. And so yeah, I did that. They talked about the team. Went and hung out during one of the guys' practices. They were having a practice, inter squad, I believe. I went out, hung out, met a few of the guys. We ended up doing a dinner deal. I had dinner with the team. Got to meet everyone, meet some more people, talk to them, and then went back to the airport and flew home. And it was really cool.
Were there any other visits before you decided on Tampa?
No, I fell in love with it here. My first one. I looked at my dad. Was like, man, it don't ever get cold here. Like that's crazy to me. Like it's 77 one day, snowing the next in Mississippi. So I'm like, man, that's crazy. It's always hot here. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I think this is where I'd like to be.
Braden, the first time I went and watched him coach down there, and I saw that stadium, and I seen the backdrop, and the weather was beautiful. I was like, it almost didn't even feel real.
It don't, man. It doesn't even really feel like you're even playing the Division II. Like you feel like you're in the D1. Like that level of buzz of competition in your body is, it's saying, hey, like this is D1 baseball right here. It's fields, easily one of the nicest fields around. And the backdrop, like you said, is beautiful. You got the whole city in the back, and yeah, man, I saw it here. Come on my visit, I was like, man, this place is beautiful. I couldn't change my mind.
Just wait. In 2 weeks, when you're hosting the South Regional,
I heard
It'll be real.
Heard it's coming.
Be
Yep.
real,
Heard
man.
it's coming.
So, I mean, obviously, I mean, you guys just clinched another Sunshine State Conference regular season title. You know, you're number one in the country, which I think for most of the year you've been ranked number one. I don't know if you guys have dropped from number one all season, but I
I
mean
think we
that,
fluctuated like once or twice,
yeah,
maybe. Had a few bad weekends.
yeah, but the reality is exactly what you said, is family. And if you've been around the program long enough, which I'm sure you have at this point, players that play with that program come back. And like we're not talking about like, you know, like big time pro guys are out there. You know, coaches at high levels come out there, and it's really a tribute to what Coach Urso, Coach Militello, and those guys have done. You know, even Jose over the years has really put his stamp on what's going on out there. But I gotta ask you, man, what is it like playing for a guy like Coach Urso? Um, in my
Mhm.
opinion, one of the best, if not the best, baseball mind that I've ever had a chance to talk to.
Yeah, man, picking Hefe's brain is unreal. The guy is an absolute genius when it comes to this game, man. He always is expecting, the situation to happen. And I mean, he's thinking of plays way before that play that's happening even happens. He's always so far ahead of the game, and I think being here and being under him has been really cool. I look up to him a lot, and I'm always trying to pick him and learn the most that I can from him, and he's always really helpful. And I think that's another thing is, it's very rare you hear him yell at us. We really got to mess up as a team to really really get
I've
let him
I've
get into it.
learned I've learned from Joe, when he yells, he makes it mean something.
Yeah,
You know, because he can go out there and you know, tell you exactly what went wrong and how it went wrong, but really the level and the caliber of baseball that he's coaching, you guys already know that. You already know you didn't meet expectations. You already know the scoreboard isn't the way that it should be. He's going to hold you accountable for sure. One of the big things that I see from him is it's not really so much that you win or lose. It's how you go about doing it. When you're not going about it the way that UT is supposed to go about it, that's when he's going to let you know about it.
yeah, man. And if you're not playing, like you said, if you're not playing that UT baseball, he tries to make sure that you know it, and that you knock it out real quick and get back in line. And I think that's another thing. That's why he has become who has become as a coach. It's just how he coaches. He doesn't expect average baseball. He doesn't expect above average baseball. He expects you to be great, and there's really no other way to put it. Like he's coaching you. I mean, when he's coaching you day in and day out, it's to be great. And he tells you that, and then in the weekends, it's hey, just go be great. Play Tampa baseball this weekend, and you'll be just fine. And to us, I think it means a lot to us. Just like you said, when he yells, he means it. He's not always yelling at you. He's not always ripping you. And usually when you mess up, at practice and stuff, it's more of a teach. He's going to come over. He's going to talk to you. He's going to try to teach you. That way you can learn. And then you're not worried because I mean I don't know about you, but coach is trying to teach me something, but he's yelling it at me, but I'm zoning out. I'm probably just gonna tune out for a second. Like I'd rather you have a reasonable conversation with me about what I'm doing. That way I can try to relate and change. Instead of that first initial yell, and then you just tune it out, and then it just doesn't mean as much.
Yeah, there are times. I mean, you know, even Mark Johnson and I, when we were coaching, it's like we're trying to hold up the standards of Coach Urso, and we're trying to, you know, hold people accountable. But it's just it's not the same. I mean, we are not him. But you know what we did learn was, you know, if you're going to get into guys, make sure that it's purposeful. Make sure you go back and you're making sure that you're teaching what's right and what's expected, because it's so easy. And you probably seen this, and the coaches are probably guilty of this. It's so easy that when you have these players of such high caliber, you make assumptions that they should know, but in reality, they're still learning the game. So, speaking of that, obviously, on the bump, you got 4 saves over 28 innings, you got 37 Ks. Um, how has the transition, been for you, and how have you felt about your performance, and what part has Coach Militello played in getting you to the caliber that you're at right now?
You know, he really stresses, to keep my tempo, and I think that's a big thing. With me and Sam, he's always, stay in your tempo. If you're gonna throw it, just trust it. Don't have second guesses about it. Just grip it and throw it, because that's what you want. If you're confident that that's what you want to throw, and that's helped me a lot as well. He gives us, at times you get the right to shake off, which I think is big for some pitchers. Um, but they let hey, if you shake me,
You better be
you're
right.
gonna you're gonna get it if something happens that wasn't supposed to happen, and that's something you just gotta be okay with. But I think with my role here, it's all in all similar to what I had at Ole Miss. So I would say like the adjustment really wasn't terribly hard, as far as I already have my routine and everything and all that. For me, it was more of just learning the guys here. I come in, right after Christmas. I had no clue about any of these guys. Just always asking questions, talking to these guys, trying to get to know them, and they've all been very open. Like soon as I was here and on the team, it was, hey man, you're part of our family now. Like whatever you need, you just ask. And I think that plays a big part in a lot of it too.
Let me ask you a question, because you talk about the family you built there. We have some guys who come on and say when they've transferred from schools, that the family they left stayed family, and then we have some that say, once they were gone, it was like bye. We don't know you anymore. Specifically, I think RJ Yeager, Daniel, who said Mercer basically didn't know him anymore. But I know you're pretty tight with the Ole Miss guys. Is it still family there?
Yeah, I mean, I still talk to my boys that I talk to every day, just like I did when I was there. Is it weird? Yeah, it's really weird. It took some adjusting to. Yeah, it was
Well, at
odd.
least you're not going up against them. Then it would be real weird.
I'd be all right with that, honestly. Make it a little more
Especially
fun, a
this
little
year,
more
I,
interesting.
I I'd put my money on you pitching against with their pitching struggles. I'm not trying to even take a shot, because we've had some of those guys on there, but
Yeah, I mean,
I go to the game, so I'm just calling it what it is.
man, that's baseball. Hey, it happens. The game's hard. Like my dad always told me growing up, he's like, hey son, if the game was easy, everybody would play with you. Like it's a hard game, but I think that's also part of the beauty of it. I mean, you look at Ole Miss; they had a great weekend this weekend, so you never know. I mean, it's just every year it's the same. It's always who gets hot, and you never know. I mean, they pretty hot weekend this past weekend, so
I mean, there's no doubt, because I mean, me and you both know that Mississippi State was not the best team at this point last year, and then they put a run together.
yeah, I mean, they got hot. They got hot at the right
Yeah.
time, and I mean, man, they were good. They were good all over. They were good hitting. They were good fielding. They were good pitching. They did everything right.
So I'll end with this before I let Jim jump back into this with you. Um, Obviously you got Eckerd Thursday and then 2 on Friday. That will take you through the regular season, and obviously you're going to have some postseason. You're going to host a regional. If I'm assuming, I'm making the assumption. I don't know why you wouldn't. Um, but there's obviously expectations that are set really high before the season starts. The season is progressing the way that you guys had hoped. You're putting yourself in a position right now to continue that success and to continue the trajectory to the ultimate goal. Um, how big is this weekend as far as making sure that you're on pace, even though you're going to play in 2 weeks? how big is this weekend closing out strong and putting yourself on a good track for postseason play?
I think it's huge, man. We talked about it today, at practice. Can't let these games just slip you up. You can't give them away because like you never know. Like even though like these postseason brackets may be set up now, when we get to Cary or the wherever the national championship will be in Cary, when you get there, it goes by overalls. You're going to be seated on your seasonal record. And as Hefe was telling us today, like, hey guys, like don't go down there this weekend and cost just think that it doesn't matter and let them slip from you. Because like that could play a difference in us being a 1 seed in Cary or being a 3 or 4 seed. It could change your whole tournament really, just from not focusing for 3 more games. We've played I don't know how many this year, but well over 40. Like just focus, man. It's only 3 more games.
Yeah.
Daniel, you gonna be able to make it over to the games?
They're playing in St. Pete. I'm going to try my best to hit one on Friday, maybe the 3:00 game. I'm gonna try. If work will allow me to get out there, I'm gonna try to check it out for a little bit.
We'd love to have you out, man.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, with that, man, we're gonna get a little more lighthearted, fun side of you. Get off all the tough baseball questions, and we're gonna play a game called This or That. Basically, it's really simple. We'll give you 2 options. You pick one or the other. You can't say neither, and you can't say both. You down to play?
Yeah, why not? Let's get it.
All right, man. We start by throwing some softball questions. If you couldn't have one, no ketchup or no ranch ever again.
No ketchup.
All right. Would you rather have book smarts or street smarts?
Street smarts.
I agree. All right. This next one, no more softballs. The weekend at the Grove or weekend at the beach?
Saying the beach because I don't know which grove you're talking about. Sometimes it sleets and you're at the grove.
I hear you, no doubt. All right, this question I actually just threw in mid-episode because it was an ongoing debate last year, and once we started talking about SEC baseball, I wanted to get your opinion. I was in the minority on this, but who would you rather have on your team, Landon Sims or Kevin Kopps?
That's tough. They're both super dominant. So I've met Landon a few times. He's a really good dude. So I would have to just go off that and say I'd probably take Sims over Cops.
There we go, Daniel. I got somebody on my team. These dudes were all about calling the cops. Wouldn't give my boy Sims that top spot.
Sims has got the dominant heater, man. The dominant heater wins most of the days. So I would take that.
No doubt. And Daniel, on that note, when I was in Starkville on Sunday, my man is out of the brace. He doesn't look like he has a bionic arm anymore. So we're on the road to recovery.
That's right.
All right. So this next one. Braden, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Depends how you look at it.
All right. Well, let me put it this way. If I'll ask it the Brooks Lee from Cal Poly way. If the buns are already broken in half and it's 2 pieces of bread, is it a sandwich?
Yes, it is.
Oh, my man. Look, that's back-to-back answers. Daniel, I know you were excited because he was a Tampa guy, but I think he's my favorite guest now.
It's technically a sub or a hoagie if the bread's connected.
I mean, I'd take that over calling a hot dog a sandwich.
Hey, he said what he said, Daniel. No taking it back. All right. So we've had a lot of guys on lately, especially because we've had Tennessee and Arkansas Cats, and, the way they're portrayed in the media. Would you rather be a hero or a villain? And as a closer, that's a fun question because,
I'd say a villain.
Yeah, that's been a common answer.
You get to this point in the season, you don't want to be nice. It's your season or theirs when you really get to it. So I guess in a sense you kind of have that mentality. It's just like, I'm sorry, but you're going to quit playing before I quit playing this year. I promise you that. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to allow that from not happening.
Daniel, is it basically a pitcher thing? Because if you look at since we started asking the guests that, all the pitchers, bar none, are the villain. And the hitters want to be the hero.
I mean, if you're having that closer mentality, it's great to close games at home, but it's so much sweeter to close games on the road.
No, it
Yeah.
is. It is. It's
And
so much sweeter.
it was
It's
awesome,
sweeter.
Braden, because our last guest was Brady Tigert, the closer for Arkansas, and he got to do that first night at Auburn, ranked team, close the door on them, and so I got to see firsthand right after we talked to a guest who said he wanted that villain role, accomplish that, so that was cool. All right, man, this one's as tough as it gets, man. It's the hardest question we always got for every guest. Would you rather do 5 years in prison or 10 years in a coma?
5 years in prison. Still learning something.
All right, David. You know what? I don't know. Like, I know he ain't at Ole Miss anymore, but he fired it off about as quick as Broadway or Nikhazy or any of these cats. What is it with these dudes, man? They want jail.
Man, you're
It's
missing 10 years. You're missing 10 years on your life, You got
that's
that
fine.
compared to
That is
5
fine.
years, 5 years, I'm getting street smarts. I'm getting smarter about real world stuff.
I'm
not unconscious to the world for 10 years.
Look, I'll tell you, Braden, like I tell every guest that gets on here and lies to us saying they're gonna go to jail.
I take
All
risks
right.
every day of the week.
I'm 37 and I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And I've never been to jail, but I know I'm not good at that. All right. Well, what I do know I'm good at is taking naps and sleeping. So go ahead and give me them 10 years of that nap and then I'll wake up and figure it out. But dude, I ain't going to jail. Not happening.
I'm with you on the prison. So, Braden, we've been, man, every question we've been on the same page. So we're good. But we'll find out a lot on this very last question if we're still on the same page. All right. So you could be the first overall pick in the MLB draft, but the caveat is you have to cut all your friends loose. Or you can be the very last pick in the draft and keep all your friends. What you doing?
Might as well just take me last.
We were on the same page till we got there.
Without my boys, man, they help more than just being my friend. It's more to that.
I get that, Braden, but Daniel, tell them about that financial difference.
I mean, between those two picks is about $8 million difference. So if somebody put $8 million in front of you and they said, take this and leave your friends, you're just going to turn around and leave it on the table and go say, hey, guys, I'm still your friend.
Yeah, because I think God has a plan. And I think if that's my plan to make that $8 million, it'll happen.
There you go.
Might as well do it with my friends by my side.
Yeah. Believe in yourself. Nobody else will believe in you.
That's right. Bet on yourself, man.
Right. Well, Braden, man, anything you want to plug or promote before we let you get out of here?
Hey, man, y'all just stay tuned with Tampa, just keep watching the boys.
So I had a feeling you weren't going to have anything. So this is what I got for you.
What you got?
If you want to know more about Braden Forsyth, follow him on Instagram at Braden_12. You can also follow UT Baseball on Instagram at UT Baseball. Thursday, 2 games Friday. You got Eckerd. You're going down to St. Pete. Take care of business. We wish you guys the best of luck because after that, it gets real. May 19th through the 21st, you guys open up South Regional. I'm sure it's going to be down here in Tampa. I promise you, if I can't make it to Eckerd this weekend, I'm coming down for one of the games in the South Regional. Hopefully the first game, the night game, check you guys out and it'll be exactly what you picture it to be. But man, we wish you the best of luck. If there's anything we can do for you along the way, man, just let us know.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, brother. If you like hearing Braden's story, or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on Twitter, listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. As always, comments, ratings, and feedback is always welcome. We're going to see everybody next week. We got episode 18 coming at you. We're going to talk more Ole Miss baseball with Hayden Dunhurst and Reagan Burford. This has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We out.